Great then. Okay, so I hope you had a great time. Because even we did not have the last class, so you had sufficient time to go through all the concepts like introduction to CDS, Eclipse ADT, then ABAP, whatever concepts we have discussed till now, as in report programming, events, ALV, OOPS ALV, your sending email, then your module programming, then your data dictionary, and all those concepts that we have done till now. So I hope also you people have finished all the assignments that was given to you till week 4, right? So I hope that everybody, whoever are present here, I hope everybody of you have done all the assignments and are done with that, right? Am I right on that aspect? Shifani, Anand, Sachin and Asit. Guys, can you please respond? Okay, great. So, does anyone have any queries? Anyone, I put you on unmute. You can mute yourself and tell, or in case if you want to discuss anything, then we will proceed with the last few topics that we have. Anyone wants to say anything? Shifani, Sachin, Anand, anyone?
Yes, Sachin here. I missed that last class basically because of the heavy workload I had. So for that CDS views, can you just show me this? The starting point, how to get started and how to create that CDS views, maybe.
So, okay. So you would have gone to Eclipse, right? Hello?
Yes.
Then Eclipse, right click on your project or suppose on your local package, then clicked on new, right? Did you go through the recording once?
Yes, the recording I had gone through, but then those annotations and all those were already appearing when I started going through the recording.
No, that comes because I select a particular template. I'll show you. Let it load once. It will take.
Okay.
It will take some time. Let it load. So what happens is, and you know that CDS can be created only from your Eclipse, right?
Okay. Yes.
CDS can be created only from your Eclipse ADT. You cannot create a CDS from your SAP GUI. You can just view a CDS.
Okay.
Let me see if I have it. So suppose this is my standard CDS view. Okay. So you know that for a CDS DDL source there will be two. One is the CDS view entity, another is the SQL entity, right?
Yes.
So now when I give this name, this is my SQL entity. So from the SQL entity, can you see the DDL source? If I double click on this, system is slow. If I double click on this, can you see this logic automatically came? So this @ABAP catalog.SQL view name, this I told this was the mandatory annotation. So once it opens, I'll show you it. Let the screen get loaded. Okay, fine. So see here, this is your project, right, which you added, right? So here every system acts as a project in your Eclipse. So suppose in your local objects or in your local objects you want to create a CDS view. Suppose I don't want to assign it to any package. So then right click on the same. Just give me some time. It is taking a lot of time today. Right click on the same. Click on new. Then go to other ABAP repository object. Type here data definition. Okay. Can you see here core data services data definition? Select on next.
Yeah.
Once you click on next, provide the name and description. So zdemo underscore cds12 suppose. Okay. And demo example. Click on next. Once you click on next, it will ask you for a TR or something. So in the here I have given $tmp package, so that's why this TR is coming as disabled. So once you click on finish, it will ask you to select a template. Then suppose I'll go back finish. So this is your extend view.sql name. So what happened basically on the last class, at the end I had showed you how to extend a view. So I'll just show you once again. Let me delete this. So this is the way you delete anything from your this thing. Okay, so suppose again I'll show you. So right click on new, go to other, select data definition, click on next. Package, suppose if you want to give zabap underscore trng suppose. Okay, this is the package which I gave. Now you give the package zdemo underscore cds12. Then click on next. It will ask you for a TR. Select any TR. Suppose I select this TR. Click on next. Then click on next. Now can you see here? Sachin, you were asking me the question, right?
Yeah.
Can you see the selected template? Here, click on define view. This is the basic CDS view. Automatically, these all annotations will come. Got the point?
Okay. Yeah.
Then once you click on finish, the CDS view will be created as I showed in the last step.
Okay.
Okay. Got the point, no? In this way, you can start creating your CDS view. Is it fine?
Okay. Yeah, fine. Yeah.
Okay. Any other query? Anyone else? Any other query?
Nothing else.
So Naresh, Harish, Shifani, Sachin, Asit. Anyone else has any other query, or we'll proceed with today's topics? So then I take it as no. Fine, then we'll start with today's topics. Okay. Fine then. So today we'll be focusing on your enhancements, modifications, BAPI and the web services. Okay. So Like we'll be saying the enhancements of ABAP dictionary, what's a BADI, how to find like which BADI is getting triggered, how to implement a BADI, understand the concepts on the implicit and the explicit enhancement points and the sections and the enhancement spots. Then what is a BAPI, how do we use BAPI in our programs and all. Then ultimately finally what is the web services, how to create end-to-end a web service provider, and on the contrast to it, how to consume a web service by the help of a web service consumer, and how to handle the same via SOA manager. Okay, fine. So let us see how much do we proceed. In case if anything is left over, so do you want to finish off everything today, or like we go like 2.5 hours and then whatever is pending on web services we do it tomorrow? How you want, guys? As you tell, we'll accordingly go. Please let me know. Okay, so you don't have any issues. So we can connect for 1.5 hours tomorrow, right? So that we don't overburden today, right? Yeah, that will be better. So we'll go slowly, fine. Okay, cool then. So coming to your enhancement of a web dictionary, your basically what I mean is enhancing your tables or structures. So you know that that is your standard database tables and structures which are provided by SAP within your ABAP dictionary. It can be enhanced by customers either using the custom includes or the append structures. Okay, you can either enhance using the append structures or the custom includes. So one of the ways is by using the append structures. So append structures basically is used to add new customer fields to your SAP standard tables. So what I mean is, append structures used to add new customer fields to SAP standard tables and structures. Without undergoing any modification. So we'll see from an example. Suppose there is a database table EKK, okay, your main table, purchasing document header table. Now if you scroll down at the end, do you see any Z field, guys? Yes or no? Do you see any kind of Z field apart from standard? Yes or no? So Sachin says no. What about the others? No, right? Now suppose I want to add a Z field to it. So for adding a Z field to it directly, so we cannot go and edit the table and add the Z field, right? Because this is the database table which is provided by SAP for all its customers. So whatever fields what you are seeing here, it will be applicable for all the customers. So right. So in case if I want to add any Z field to it, it will be customer specific from the point of view that whichever organization you are working for, whatever requirement you get with respect to that only you will add it here. So in that aspect, your append structure comes very helpful when you want to add any Z custom fields to your table without doing any kind of modification to your SAP standard tables or structures. So in case you want to modify it, then how do you go? You click on go to, okay, then click on append structure, then you can go for creating an append structure. Otherwise, simply here you see the option of append structure, right? Here you see the option of append structure, click on append structure, then here click on creating the append structure. Then provide a name of the append structure here. So append structures and the fields are always named in the customer namespace so as to avoid conflicts. Okay, because what may happen is, suppose if you name any field with, suppose a field name is ABC, okay, and in the future SAP also releases the same field name with ABC, won't it be a conflict, guys? Yes or no? If you give the same field name as ABC and SAP also releases in the future the same name as ABC, there will be conflict in the future and the table will go for a toss. That is the reason we follow the proper nomenclature while creating an append structure, so that there is no conflict coming with SAP in the future. Okay, so for append structure, what we will do is Z append struct. Okay, this is my append structure name. Now here it will ask you for the description. So let me give the description as append structure. Okay, now here I want to suppose provide a field name. So ZZ underscore, I want to define a ZZ underscore EKGRP types EKGRP. Okay, so this is my purchasing group and all. Suppose you don't want to use the standard data element and all, that you already know that you have to create a data element or something and then accordingly use the same. Fine. Now once you have created it, it will ask click on save. Suppose I want to store it in a package. Fine, I store it in a package, TFO package. Okay, now then once you have saved it, click on check. It will show that enhancement category for the include or subtype is missing. Now if you see the main table, okay, if you see the main table EKKO, and if you go on extras and enhancement category, you see that it can be enhanced character like or numeric. So the best practice is that whatever is the enhancement category for the main table or the main structure, similarly keep the enhancement category for this append structure as same. So initially it was not classified, make it same like whatever was the main table source. Now click on check. So if you see no inconsistencies found, remember one point: whenever you are making any change to your DDIC object, always never go for activating the object first. Always go for save and check, so that you check whether any inconsistencies are there or not. Once done with that, I have followed proper nomenclature. I have given Z, then append structure name, then ZZ or YY is the nomenclature for your append structure component names. Okay. Now once you have done that, then go for activating it. Now I'll go for activating the same. It will take some time, let it activate. Okay, till the time it is activating. Now further important points about append structure is that whatever tables, the database tables you are going to do create the append structure for it, you should make sure that it should be a transparent table and it should not be a pooled or a cluster table. Point number one. Okay, it should not be a pooled or a cluster table. So database table should be a transparent table only. Okay, not a pooled or a cluster table. Okay, next point is that, as already I told you, if you find that for the main database table or the structure, if you find that the enhancement category should not be or cannot be enhanced or something, you should make sure that don't go for the enhancements of those type of database tables. As in here, if you find that in extras in enhancement category, if for the main database table or for the structure, if you find that it cannot be enhanced, then don't go for, and normally it will not be the case, but just I'm telling you for information, that if you find that it cannot be enhanced, that means it cannot be enhanced, hence don't go for the enhancement of that. Normally it will not be the scenario. Okay, next point is that whatever append structures you are creating, it will be visible with the dot append keyword. It will be visible with the dot append keyword. I'll show you this once it gets activated. It will take a lot of time, because once you are adding any custom fields to your DDIC objects, it will go through all the dependent objects with respect to the DDIC objects. So it will take a lot of time to activate the same. Second point, what I was telling is that it will display with the append keyword. Next point is that whenever you are adding an append structure to a database table or structure, you should make a note that it is exactly applicable for only one table or structure. That means append structures, whatever you create, it is applicable only for that table or structure and cannot be used anywhere else. Second point, you can create more than one append structure for that same table or structure. So what are the 2 points? That append structure, whatever you have created, is applicable only for that database table or structure, first point. Second point, if you want to add more Z fields and if you want to create more than one append structure, that you can do easily. You can create multiple append structure, but all the append structures should point, if you want, to that same this thing. Okay. Now see here, warnings occur during activation. Do you want to display the log? If you want to display the log, fine, not an issue. These are all the dependencies and all, and this is finally active, fine. Now if I go back, close this, scroll down, can you see this dot append keyword? So this is what I was telling, append structures are visible with the dot append keyword and the append structure name. So append structure, if you see, if I want to use this dot append in another database table or structure, it will throw me an error that it is applicable only one time with respect to one table or structure. If I want to create more than one append structure, I can go for the same. I can create more than one. And so remember one more point, whenever a table or a structure which is containing append structure is copied to another new table or structure, that target table or structure can contain only the fields directly in that append structure as normal fields. What I mean is, suppose there is a structure, okay, and there are many standard append structures to it, standard, not Z, standard append structures to it, and you want to create a structure similarly to this same structure. That structure cannot have this dot append, you know, because of the restriction. But how will you copy the fields? Directly manually give the field and the types. So whenever your table or structure which is containing append structure is copied, the target table or structure contains the fields in the append structure as the normal fields. Up to this point, is it clear, guys, about append structure? So what I told, important point about append structure is that append structure will appear with dot append keyword, right? Next point, that append structure can be used exactly for one table. Append structure can be used exactly for one table or structure, okay, but you can add multiple append structures to one table, but you can add multiple to one table or structure, okay. Then next point is, whenever you will change, as in you will add new fields to this append structure. Suppose now you get a requirement that you want to add more Z fields to that append structure. So whenever you will add new Z fields to that append structure, so what will happen? Again it will go through the same process of activation. So again the original table and the structure will also get activated automatically. So did you see, whenever I added an append structure to this also got activated in the process, but this was not inactive, right? It was not showing as inactive. So this also got activated in the process behind. So basically whenever if you want to add any more further field to this append structure, again it will go through the entire process of the activation of all the dependent objects with that append structure. Because if I double click on this, if you go to the attributes, it will show that the appending table is EKKO. Hence it will go for the activation of all the dependent objects in the similar way. Okay. So next point is in your append structure, important point is that the append structure should follow the naming pattern as ZZ or Y asterisk. So fields of append structure should follow the naming pattern as ZZ asterisk or YY asterisk. This is very important, otherwise in the future you will get conflict. This is very important, otherwise in the future you will get a conflict. Okay. And as I told you, the table to be enhanced should not be a pool or cluster table. Okay. And the last point is that append structures can only be added at the end of all the components of the database table or the structure. If you see, this append structure got added at the end, it cannot be inserted in the middle or anything. Okay. Append structures cannot be inserted in the middle. Append structures will always be added at the end. So if you see this diagram, okay, let me expand it. If you see this diagram, this is your ABAP dictionary. Okay, suppose this is your database table which are having three fields F1, F2 and F3. So when you are adding this append structure with ZZ1 and ZZ2, this is getting appended at the end of all these fields of this table. So if you see the runtime object for tab, it will be F1, F2, F3, ZZ1 and ZZ2, and this is how you will see the database table. This is what I was meaning. So append structure will always be added at the end. Okay, it will not be at the middle or anything. Fine. So append structure you will find it always at the end, not at the middle. So now coming to your custom include. So earlier what SAP used to do is, they used to provide us with a custom include which is similar like in structure as a, so if you see here CI underscore. Okay, so any custom include will start with the nomenclature as CI underscore. CI underscore is the custom include. So now you see here, can you see this is the dot append? This is the dot append which SAP has given. In this dot append which SAP has given, here can you see this is the standard append structure which is created by SAP, and after which we created our, sorry, not this, see here. So this is my append structure. Okay, and can you see all these are append structures, append, append, dot append, dot append. Can you see all these are append structures? So these are all the append structures which are there. So after that, what I was talking about was the custom include. So earlier what SAP used to do is, they used to provide a customizing include so as to add your custom fields without modifying the SAP standard tables or structures. So customizing includes, it can be included in both structures and database tables. The plus point about this customizing includes was there, you know that dot include you can include in both your tables and structures at multiple places, right? It is not restricted like append structures that you cannot add. So if you add any fields to this customizing include, and this customizing include is there in a structure or multiple structures, suppose there is a table, what I mean is there is a table tab 1, okay, which has got this dot ci blah 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 blah, okay. Now there are three structures, struct 1, struct 2 and struct 3. Now this dot ci is a part of struct 1, struct 2 and struct 3. So guys, now you tell me, if I add any z fields to this dot ci which is under this table tab 1, will the same reflect under struct 1, struct 2 and struct 3? Yes or no? Yes or no, guys? Are you there? So will it reflect under struct 1, struct 2 and struct 3? Yes or no? Yes, it will reflect, because I told you it's similar to your dot include structures. How you see your dot include structures, it is similar to that. So if any of you have added any field under this ci include, it will be visible across all the dependent objects wherever this ci include was used. So this was the best part of ci include. But nowadays SAP has stopped giving customizing includes anymore. So what we are normally using is the append structures only. So to add here, customizing includes, ci includes, it can be included in structures and database tables both. Okay, and the other important point is that a customizing include can be included in multiple database tables or structures. That is the best point, that it is reusable. Okay, the best point is that it is reusable. And if a customizing include is used to add fields to a database table or structure in the standard system, as I told you, this field will be inserted automatically in the new structure or the database table which will be delivered by SAP. So the best point is that a customizing include can be included in multiple DB tables or structures. So up to this point, is it clear, guys? Append structures and custom include. Custom include, we don't go for creating, SAP provides. We don't go for creating, we create only the append structures. Again, I'll recall, append structures can be created only for that same table structure. It cannot be used multiple times. More than one append structure can be created for the table structure. Whereas the other way around, customizing includes can be inserted for multiple tables or structures. Whatever fields you add or whatever components you add to that customizing include, it will be applicable for all the dependent objects. Customizing includes are provided by SAP only. We don't deliver the same. In case if a customizing include which was used to add fields to a database table or structure in the standard system, these fields will be inserted automatically in this new structure or database table, which will be delivered by SAP in an upgrade. Up to this point, I hope it's completely clear, guys. Append structures and custom tables. So, Asi, this will be always performed by an ABAP developer consultant. It will never be performed by a functional, because basis teams will not give the corresponding DDIC change roles to the functional consultant. It will always be performed by an ABAP technical or a ABAP developer consultant. Got the point? And this is your base of your entire coding. If anything happens to these database tables, you are gone for a toss. Your entire project is gone for a toss. So even I'll recommend what I showed you now. Please, without anyone's consent or without any or otherwise, if you are not having proper experience, don't go for creating an append structure just like that in your organizations or in your sandbox system, anything. Because if you are not able to activate something properly or the other way around, your entire database table will become partially active or inactive. So be sure, or please make sure that whenever you are doing this kind of activity, either you have complete confidence on yourself or you are doing under someone's guidance. Got the point, Asit? There have been many scenarios. You know what has happened when people have tried to activate these tables and all, they have gone on to delete the entire data of the database table because they stopped the activation in the middle and the table completely gone for a toss. So this is, I am telling you from a real-time experience. Understood the point, Asit and everyone? Is it clear? Append structures and customizing includes? Because this is a very regular activity and a very important activity which you need to do as from a developer's perspective. Give me a minute, I'll have some water. Okay. Now coming to the next topic, that is your BADI. Just a second. So anybody has worked on BADI? Anyone? Anyone has worked on BADI? Anyone from you? Or has anyone heard about BADI or something? So Harish, you have worked on BADI or you have just heard about BADI? You can speak up, by the way, guys. I have just unmuted. You can unmute yourself and speak up.
Like we identified the place where we need to create use the BADI, and based on the condition, like for example based on the document type, we modified our code in the BADI.
So basically, Harish, so what you understood from by doing that requirement? So what is the BADI? It is basically like your business add-in, right? So whatever source code was given by SAP, on top of that you wanted to modify something to achieve your own custom requirement, right?
Yeah. So in material transaction, we created a new custom tab.
So that custom tab will be not by BADI. I got it. So what happens is SAP provides certain certain hooks, wherein if you want to add an additional functionality on top of what SAP is providing, so you can use those hooks to insert your customer source code, so that on the top of SAP's code, this code will also run, so that we can achieve our functionality. Am I right? Getting my point, Harish?
Yeah.
So BADI is like a SAP object oriented approach. So it's like an SAP object oriented technique used to add our own business functionality. Okay, used to add our own business functionality to the existing standard functionality. So what happens is like whenever you want to use a BADI, you have to implement the same. So first of all, let me make you walk through a real time. First, let me show you how to understand like which BADI and all is getting triggered in your source code. Okay, I hope that the system does not get logged out. Okay, cool. So suppose I'll take a scenario that you are trying to create a new material master. Okay, through your MM01, suppose you are trying to create a new material master and you want to understand which BADI and all is getting triggered, so that suppose, just understand the requirement. We will try to do it through a requirement. Suppose through a material master MM01, when you are trying to create a new material master, through MM01, suppose I want to create a new material master under chemical industry and material type, suppose under raw materials, click on enter, then click on basic data 1. So while providing this important like mandatory steps like basic unit of measure, material group and division and blah blah and all, once I click on save, after that I click on save, it should throw me some kind of information message. Okay, I want to get some information message that suppose example material creation of this kind of group or something blah blah should be avoided. This is what I want. Okay, suppose I give the test, okay, and basic unit of measure as kg, and here suppose what should I give, CHM, suppose chemicals and a division as 02. So now here when I click on save, see here the material number got created without I getting any message or something. But I don't want the material number to be created at this stage, or I want to throw an information message that this type of creation of this kind of material should be avoided. Okay. So to understand how to achieve this requirement, there are certain BADIs which SAP provides. Okay, to understand which BADI is getting triggered at this stage, there is a class called CL_exit handler. Open this class, go to the method get_instance. Okay, now double click on this. Now here put a breakpoint on this point, that is get class name by interface. Okay, now click on enter, click on this. Now it will get triggered. So at this stage I don't want, come out of the BADI. I want on basic data 1, enter, come out of the BADI, come out of the BADI, come out of the BADI. Now here on this click of enter I want, okay, so test 2, material group as CHM, this as kg, and this division as 02. So here on this click of save, I want the BADI to get triggered. Now focus here guys. Can you see this exit name? So if I do an F8, BADI material reference. So what was my requirement? That I want to do on validation, that I want to check something. So this BADI, if you see this name, BADI_material_check seems valid for my scenario. BADI_material_check seems valid for my scenario, so as to check and do the validation with respect to this. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll terminate the creation because I did not want to create the material. Now for implementing a BADI, go to the T code as SE18. Okay, provide the BADI name here. Fine, go to the enhancement implementation and first do an overview of the same to see what all implementations are there. So I'll remove the debugger from there because it will get triggered. These all enhancements already exist. I want to go for creating a new enhancement for the same with respect to my logic. What I do is I click on this create option. It will ask me for the implementation name and all. Either you can do by this or enhancement implementation overview and click. Now provide the implementation name. Suppose you need to provide a proper implementation. This will be the implementation name for the same, through which you want to implement your BADI. Okay, So suppose I provide an implement name as zdemo underscore material underscore check. Okay, this is my implementation name. Click on enter. Now here it will ask you for the implementation short text. Okay, provide a name, demo BADI implementation. Fine, provided the name of it. Then go to the interface. Okay. Now here if you see, once I click on this interface, first we see the properties. The best part is that this BADI can be used in multiple places, like you can have multiple implementations of the same. That's why it is checked on multiple use. Now if you go to the interface as I told you, it was same like the classes. What happens is whenever you implement a BADI, ultimately it creates a class inside it. Okay, can you see this name of the implementing class? ZCL underscore IM underscore whatever name I have given. So name was demo underscore met underscore check, leave this Z part. So that's what it will replace with ZCL underscore IM underscore, then this name demo underscore met underscore check. This is my implementing class which will automatically get generated with respect to this interface, and these are the methods which are there. Okay. Now after that, what is there? Click on save. It will ask you for a package and a TR. Specify the same. Then can you see activate and deactivate? So once you implement a BADI, you have got two options. Either you can activate the BADI, either you can deactivate the BADI. Let me activate the BADI as of now because I'm implementing the BADI. Now double click on this, go inside this class. Okay, what I told you, I want to add a validations with respect to when I'm creating the material, right? So check data for checks and limited checks to material master tables if you see this description. Now double click on this. Once you double click, it will ask you to write the code inside this. So now let us write the code inside this. So once we start writing the code, we can see type Mara. These are all the importing variables which we already have here. So if w Mara, then matkl equals to chm and w Mara spart equals to 02 and if inside this I want to throw an information message material creation for this group should be avoided. Okay, type information because I want to throw it as an information. Fine. Now once you have done with the code, activate the same. I have activated the code, remove the signature, come out of it, again activate the class once, come out of it, just for cross checking activate it once. Okay, come out of it. Now go back. Now see the enhancement implementation overview. Can you see the BADI name which we implemented here? So step 1, implement the BADI. When you implement the BADI, it will automatically throw a class name because once you implement the BADI, it has to have a class name for it. Okay, go to the class name, wherever you want to add the respective logic, add the respective logic. Now what we will do, let us go inside this. Let me put a breakpoint here. Okay, I have added a breakpoint here. Let me remove this /n mm01. Click on enter. Fine. Basic data 1 here. Fine. So demo material I'll give the unit as kg, material group as chm, okay, and division as 02. Fine. So you are about to exit. Do you want to save? When I click on save, can you see the debugger got triggered and it came here, guys? So it will go inside this, and you know, like, it will go inside it, then it will throw the message, and this material creation for this group should be avoided. So this is how we achieved our custom requirement on top of the SAP standard functionality. First, what we did, we identified the body. So what was the first step? We identified the body. How we identified the body is through this. By going to CL_exit handler, clicking on the get instance method, and double click on this exit_name. This will give you the body name. Okay. First you identified the body. Then step 2 was that you implemented the body, right? Body implementation via SE18. Once you implemented the body, automatically it created a class for you via implementing class. Then in step 3, once done with your implementing class, add the respective logic to your corresponding method. And then your requirement is achieved. That's it. These are the broad main 3 steps. So up to this point, is it clear, guys? Any doubts with respect to this body? So we understood how to find a body which is getting triggered. Then we understood how to implement a body step by step. Then we understood how to add the logic. Then we put a debugger and triggered the same. And then ultimately we did an end-to-end requirement. Up to this point, is it clear, guys? Now, in that same suppose SE18 you want to deactivate that body and you don't want to use that body. So body material check, enhancement implementation, go to overview, select this, double click on this. Once you double click on this, go to the interface, go to the edit mode. Can you see it is showing to deactivate also? Can you see it is showing to deactivate also? So if you don't want to activate this body, as in what I mean is, if you enhancement implementation overview, these all are activated bodies. So in case if you don't want to activate the same and you don't want to use the same, you can deactivate the body. In case if you want to delete the same, click on this delete button and it will delete the same. So this way you can either deactivate or activate a body as per the requirement, or you can add furthermore logic to the body by going to add other methods. As in what I mean is, sorry, not this one. If you go to the interface, go to the implementing class, either you can directly go to this class through SE24, but I come by here also. If you see other methods also, like check for changes to base unit of measure, as per the description, if you want to add any additional logic, you can add the additional logic there as well. And in case if you want to delete the body, as I told you, go to enhancement implementation overview and directly click on this body, the implementation of the same. These are all your implementation of the bodies, and inside this there was the implementing class to support the same. Up to this point, is it clear, guys? Guys, any doubt up to this point? We can discuss now for 5 minutes and then we'll proceed forward. Anyone wants to ask anything?
That exit handler we can use for any transactions to identify the suitable bodies.
Yeah. Any transactions, anything. But see, my best suggestion to you will be what happens. No, it's better to Google it out. What will happen? No, a particular transaction can have unlimited number of bodies, right? True or false?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, that's correct.
I am telling Sachin, at particular transaction can have unlimited number of bodies, right? So normally what happens, no, with our experience and when we are working or we Google it out or we find it, if we just find out what is the body for this, it will tell. Or sometimes what happens, no, if you ask the functionals, they will go through the configuration SPRO and they will find the body name for that. In SPRO also sometimes the bodies are configured, which body gets triggered and for what. So if you want to go by the hard way, is CL_exit handler get instance. That is the most authentic way to find which bodies are getting triggered. Like if you ask me, that is the most authentic way, right? Because it will show you all the bodies. Second option is you Google it out and we find it out like what the body is getting triggered. Third way out, most of the cases what happens is like when we are working in a project, we know what all codes are getting triggered, right? So you can do the reverse way out. So if you see here in SE18 I give the body name, I go to the enhancement implementation overview and I double click on this, and if I pick up the class name, so suppose if I pick up this class name, okay, and if you people are working on classes, then just give this class name, go to display, go to the properties of this. Can you see implementation class for body ZDemoMatCheck? Can you see this description? So this shows that this is an implementation class for this body ZDemoMatCheck. So this ZDemoMatCheck, what you do, you pick up this, then go to your SE19. Okay, provide this. Click on that classic body, you give this implementation name, it will show you the body name. Can you see I went the reverse way out? Getting my point, Sachin? How I found the body name? So normally your friends and colleagues will tell you this is the class where you can write the code, right? Now if you want to find out whether that class was the implementation for the body and all, just do in the reverse way out. Go to the class, find the enhancement implementation of the same, put the same in SE19 here under classic body, not under new body, okay? Click on display, you will find the body name. And then you go to SE18 and put this body name and see how many implementations are there. And normally your body names will start with body underscore or something blah blah. Very rare it will be something else. For purchase order and all, there it starts with different name. Like there is one body called ME process PO cost, which is a very important body with respect to purchase order. Then your similarly, but other names in most of the cases your body names will start with body underscore. Understood, Sachin?
Yeah.
Anyone else? Asit, Harish, Shifani, Snehal, Naresh, anyone else? Any questions? So should I ask a question? So suppose if I have a body and I have deactivated the same, will my custom logic trigger or not?
No, it will not.
So Naresh said no, Harish said no. What about others? Asit and all. What about the others? Obviously it will not trigger, because if I deactivate the body, my custom logic is anyways not going to trigger, because it depends on whether that implementation is active or not. So you at the top only you are deactivating the implementation, so nothing will happen. Neither that implementing class will get called, neither any of your methods will get called. So that is the reason why none of your custom logic excuse me, none of your custom logic will work. Fine, then let us move to BAPI. Before we start with BAPI, should we have a 2 minutes break?
Sir, regarding the user exits and customer exits and the implicit enhancement, are we going to discuss those as well?
Yeah. We will be discussing implicit enhancement point, explicit enhancement point, then your enhancement section. See, user exits and customer exits, those are only very much project specific. Those are not used on a day-to-day basis. What we use is implicit enhancement point. We'll be discussing all those things as well.
Yeah. Just wanted to know, like for a standard transaction, if we want to check for some function modules which were being used or some exits which were being used, and if we want to check their particular logic while debugging, how we can do those things.
See, implicit enhancement points, enhancement spots, enhancement options, that you can easily see from the object list of the same. Okay. Now coming to your screen exits or your customer exits, those are implemented only once. So C mod or S mod. So to understand that, so you need to identify the word. If you are anywhere finding in your code, call customer function. If you find in your code, call customer functions, that means it calls your customer exit. And whenever you are using a custom screen or something, then it has been created by your screen exit. So example, just let me recall an example, just wait. There is a T code called VD01, I remember, I think. Let me take the program name of the same. Click on display. Okay, let me go to this program. Now in this program, just search for call customer function. So call customer function. Okay. Now can you see this call customer function? So this is all customer function, that is customer function 001. Now if you go inside this customer function 001, includes will be implemented. This includes will be implemented, and inside this you can add your logic. So what happens is, this customer function and all this needs to be implemented by the transaction called your C mod. So this customer function and all, we never do it on a day-to-day basis. These are all on project implementation basis. So if you are implementing a new project for any organization or something, and you want to add certain custom specific code on top of, as I told, like on top of the SAP standard functionality, then you need to create a custom exit or a user exit or a program exit or a screen exit. So these are not on a day-to-day basis. So that is the reason for most of you, you may not get a chance to ever create a custom exit or a screen exit. But to understand like how it is triggered, so for a customer as in the function exit, what you need to do is, you need to search for this keyword call customer function. Call customer function will give you how do we this call customer function will give you an overview of the function exits that are applicable with respect to that code. So this will give you the function exits. So inside this customer function call exit that you saw here, when you double click on this, this will have a include. Inside this include, since this is our Z include, we write our logic. So who was asking this question? Harish, right?
Yes.
So Harish, now you got the idea how we use this custom like program function module exits. in our source code. So anywhere in any program or anything via any T code, go to the program, search whether customer functions are used or not. Can you see this user exit? In German it will be written. So just this, to implement this thing, we need to use T codes like CMOD or SMOD to implement this. So what we do is like we create an enhancement project of the same, which is a one-time activity. So which is a one-time activity, so for which we created. So suppose how we do is /o cmod. So it will ask you for a project name. Okay, any project name it will ask you. So suppose Z test project or something. Click on display. It is not there, so then click on create. Now it will ask you for the short text. Provide any short text like demo project or something. Provide any short text. Then once you provide your short text, click on this enhancement assignments. Okay, so I'll not local object. Now here you need to add your enhancement names. Here you need to add your enhancement names, whatever is there. So here if you see, my enhancement name was SAP MF02D suppose. But since this is already implemented, so I'll just go back. I'll show you from one which is already implemented. So ZVD1 0 _EX. So ZVD01 _EX. Okay. Click on display. Click on enhancement assignments. Can you see user exists customer master data? This one. So click on the components. Can you see the enhancement implementation? Harish.
Yes,
Harish?
sir. Yeah.
Can you see here? In the enhancement implementation, yes. Exit _ SMA M02D. Now I'll relate here. See this function module. Exit _ SAP MF02D 001. So here this same exit has been implemented here. So once this include will come, okay, you just have to activate and double click on the same and start writing the logic. This is the last step. So that is the point. What I was telling is that you won't be able to do it on a regular basis. This is a one-time activity. So once it is done, it is like done in the system. So until and unless you people are working on new project implementation with respect to some new solution or something, otherwise you will not get a chance to work on this user exit or customer exit or program exit or screen exit. So normally what happens is like there is a well-known user exit in SD. This was your function module exit, like customer function. Now I'll show you one well-known user exit in SD is your Morphe. Wait, I'm not able to recall that. Let me show you through SPRO. So go to SPRO. Now go to sales and distribution. Okay. Now once you go to sales and distribution, click on system modifications. Where are you seeing system modification anywhere? Can you see your user exits? See here, user exits. So now user exit in sales. Click on this, and these are all the different user exits which I was telling you. From configuration also you will find. So sales and distribution, system modification, user exits. These are the different user exits in sales. Now directly I'll show you through SC38. So MV4, then 5A, FZ, okay. Click on display. Okay, now just go to this object list. Sorry. can you see, Harish? How many are there? Can you see? So
Yeah.
in this way, can you see? This is my program name. These are all the includes. So this include is reserved for user modifications. Can you see? So in this you can add this user exit. Here you can add your code. So these are all your custom user exits. Getting the point? So this way, so if you want to create any implementation of the same, suppose so this will ask you for a modification assistant. Let me close this. Once I click on this enhance button, see, it will show you the entire enhancement for the same. So in this way you can add, so if you want to add any code to your user exit, either you can go by the enhancement point, which I'll just show you in some time, like by a real-time scenario, how to go for an implicit enhancement point or a enhancement options or reports and all. Okay. Got the point, Harish and all? How to use, so I showed you like how to use CMod to create a enhancement implementation with respect to a function module exit. So first is like in most of the cases you will find your call customer function. So if you find that call customer function and all is there, those are your function module exits. Either you can have a user exit, screen exit. Guys, can you please go on mute? So you can have a function module exit that was called customer function. So this is your function module exit. If you find call customer function, any certain number will be there. Okay. So any number will be there. Any number will be there, which is your function module exit. This is your function module exit. So call customer function, if you find this word, this is your function module exit. So for implementing the same, as I told you, you need to use the T code CMod to implement the same. And in case if in the screen you find a new subscreen, so if you find the keyword called call customer function, as you see, if you see this word call customer subscreen and then blah blah whatever may be the number and all, so this is your screen exit, so that you can add your custom screen logic to the same. Okay, there are certain menu exit also, but we don't use that same normally. So either we go for the function module exit to add our own custom logic, or to add our own custom fields to the screen, we go for the screen exit. So screen exit and function module exit are most popular. And the other one is the program exit, that is related to workflow and all, which we will not deal as of now. So up to this point, is it clear, guys? So I showed you that for creating a customer module exit, you need to use the T code CMod. This is the one-time activity when you are working for a project implementation, because once you implement the exit, then you are going to use the same again and again, as you will be just writing the logic into those Z includes. That's it. Because we don't keep on creating exits again and again. That is a one-time activity. Up to this point, is it clear, guys? Any doubts? Any doubts up to this point? Guys, can you please respond? Yeah, Sachin, you can speak up. Wait a second.
Yeah. So one question I have is like, I mean, I have read about this BRF plus. Okay, so in BRF plus, like, I mean, it is. I heard that, I mean, many business rules can be built into BRF plus, and then that can be hooked into some BADIs or enhancements, basically.
BRA plus, how are you relating? BRA plus is a completely different thing. That's just a framework. The BRA plus is the business rules framework concept. And BADI we are writing to add our own custom logic on top of it. So that's the rules, and this is a logic based. Getting the point?
Okay.
Normally BRA plus was
yeah. So
yeah, tell me.
Yeah, so actually, I mean, what I read or what I've come across is whatever the the function modules are generated out of BRF plus. So basically, those function modules are hooked into some parties wherever, I mean, those needs to be implemented on particular functions or transactions, and then that way those are activated. Basically, that I heard.
So that is a completely different approach. If you want to go via that approach. So if you want to use BRA plus for your development channel, that will be a completely different approach. So SAP has been providing function like your screen exits, your function module exits and all. This is for the purpose which I showed you, like if you want to add your own custom screen, custom logic. But if you want to set rules and all, that will be a completely different approach, not what I'm telling now.
Okay, yeah, got it.
So
yeah, so
BRA
I mean,
plus
it
is
may be
a completely different framework. Many customers use, many customers don't even use BRA plus. It depends on the organization and that customer whether they opt for you, they want to use or not.
okay.
Right.
Okay.
Because
One question in that context actually. So this BRF plus is only used for S4 HANA, or it can be used on ECC also?
see, BRA plus people were using earlier in ECC also. Many customers are not even using, like we are not using BRA plus. Many are not using BRA plus. BRA plus is not a new thing. BRA plus was the old thing. This business rules framework and all. Many, it depends on customer to customer. Many people are using on ECC, many people are using on S4 HANA. So like if many organization has got your master data governance and all for this data handling and all, they are using BRF because they want to set rules for migrating data and all. But many organizations are not even using MDG. So it depends on the solution which organization and which the customers want to adopt for getting the requirements. So it is purely customer specific and your like wherever you are working. Getting the point? So it's not limited to your S4 HANA or ECC. It depends on the solution which your customer or your organization wants with respect to a certain requirement. Anyone else? Anyone today? Asif is not asking anything. What happened?
While implementing BADI, we will be checking for class, right? So while in that class, we have a couple of options like fallback class and implementing class. So basically, with checkboxes or something. So just wanted to know like what exactly those two options are for.
No, we will normally go for your implementing class because
Okay.
whenever you are implementing a BADI, first you are creating an enhancement implementation of the same. That enhancement implementation has to have an implementing class with respect to the logic that you want to add. Hello?
Yes.
Getting the point?
Yeah. So basically, we'll be using only the implementing class, and we will not be checking for the fallback class.
Nope. Fallback class is very rare. Very rare.
But just want to know what exactly does fallback class does mean.
So see what happens now, whenever we are creating a body, normally we go for multiple use condition or something. Okay, there was one more option called filter use and all. So if you don't specify, if you that is like it is not having any suitable filter conditions, or like no standard implementations are found in those scenarios, then that concept of enhancement spot, then all those things will come into picture. So nowadays SAP is not like many, we as a developers are not even using fallback class. Earlier we used to use, but nowadays we are mostly using your implementing classes. Implementing classes like 99%, very rarely in 1% you will find. So what happens is like, if there is no BADI implementation with any certain suitable filter conditions and there are no standard implementations are also found, then we go for this fallback option, that is a fallback class. But it's very rare that we will go for a fallback class and all, because for a fallback class we need enhancement spot and all. So first you have to create an enhancement spot, right? Then once you create an enhancement spot, then you need to create a body within that enhancement spot. Then once you have created a body, you need to define that fallback class. Then in that fallback class you need to specify the interface. So most of the cases we don't have any like scenario like where a BADI has not been implemented standardly. So in most of the cases, if you see when you open a BADI, it has been implemented via a standard way, and most of the cases that's why we will go for your implementing class. But very rarely if you see that no standard implementations are found for the same and no such BADI implementation are there with any suitable filter conditions, then only we will go for the fallback class. So just understand, if you don't find any standard implementation for any BADI, or you don't find any BADI implementation with any suitable filter conditions, then only we will go for filter fallback class. Got the point?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, but very rare. It will be very rare. Any other doubt? Okay, since I started with your so since I started with your user exits and screen exits and all, so I will show you one scenario. So what I was telling, so people were asking, no, go to this program, now go to the object list. So once you go to the object list, so Harish, Harish and all, everyone asking, so can you see the enhancement implementation and the enhancement spots for the same? So there are three things. So if you see here this diagram in the enhancement framework, here I have talked about your source code plugin, where is the implicit enhancement and the explicit enhancement. So enhancement options and enhancement spots. So enhancement options and enhancement spots, there are two things basically. First, to broadly classify enhancement options and enhancement spots. So enhancement, coming first to your enhancement options. Okay, enhancement options are already there in your ABAP repository objects where enhancements can be made. This can be either explicit or implicit. So I'll just remove this and from here. So here this can be either implicit and explicit. So if you see this diagram here, this implicit enhancement and explicit enhancement. Now coming to your implicit enhancement will be which you can add your code within the source code. As in, what I mean is, this is your module pull program, right? So in your module pull program, can you see this is enhancement point, then this, then spots, and then static. So first let me make you understand this enhancement options first. So what happens is this explicit enhancement, so what I was telling was implicit and explicit, right? So implicit will come later, first focus on this explicit enhancement options. So explicit enhancement options are basically generally defined in your central initial system only. Basically your SAP will provide you with your explicit enhancement options. So explicit enhancement options, these are managed by your enhancement spots. Managed by enhancement spots. So and enhanced by enhancement implementation. So first, if you focus here you will see that it has got enhancement implementations, okay, and these are the enhancement spots, okay. So there are two enhancement spots which basically are created here. So these are your enhancement spot name. If you see here, enhancement spot name, and if you see your enhancement your enhancement implementations, so these are your enhancement implementation names. These are your enhancement implementation names, okay. So enhancement implementation name and enhancement spots. Now the point that I was telling is that coming to your enhancement options, there are two implicit enhancement options and explicit enhancement options. Explicit enhancement options are managed by your enhancement spots and enhanced by enhancement implementation. Now enhancement spots are what they basically, as I told you, they are used for managing your explicit enhancement options, okay. They basically carry the information about the positions at which enhancement options were created. So for creating an enhancement spot, what we do is normally we create an enhancement spot with the help of the package. So suppose SEAT, go to the package. Now here let me enter the package. Now here right click on the same, create. Once you click on create, it will ask you for enhancement. Then can you see here enhancement spot? So for creating any explicit enhancement options, we need to mandatorily have enhancement spot. So for creating an enhancement spot, create, then go to your, where did it go? Go to your enhancement and click on this enhancement spot. Provide a enhancement spot name, a text, and a technology it will ask. So by default it will be BADI def, BADI definition, blah blah, okay. Provide an enhancement spot name and provide a short text name. So now if I go here and I show you, see here, this is your enhancement spot. Can you see so many enhancement spots have been used with respect to all these points. Now coming to your explicit enhancement options. So in your explicit enhancement options, that is this one, explicit enhancement options, it can be either static / dynamic. Static is where you will do all your data declaration. Let me show you from here. Let me go back. So this is your static keyword. See, enhancement point enhancement name, spots, enhancement spot name, and static. So whenever I am saying for an enhancement option, that to explicit enhancement options, it can be static or dynamic. So when you add the word static, this is only for your data declaration, and dynamic is for coding. Remember, static is only for data declaration, and dynamic is for coding. So if you see here, enhancement point, if you double click on this, can you see here, this is a static enhancement point, right? Now see, so explicit enhancement options can have enhancement point and enhancement section. What I mean is, explicit enhancement options can have enhancement point and enhancement section, and both of them can be either static or dynamic. Static means only the data declaration part, and dynamic means only the coding part. Now relate here, if you go back here, what I told you, static means only data declaration part, right? Or so these are all like they have given include, right? If I double click on this, can you see the static enhancement point? So for a static enhancement point, it will be enhancement then point. Okay. Now if I go here, if I go to this dynamic enhancement point, okay, if I go to this dynamic enhancement point, double click on this, let it open. See here, enhancement point, this point and spots. But after this enhancement point, if you don't find enhancement and add end enhancement, that means this enhancement point has not yet been implemented. As in, let me show you another dynamic enhancement point. Let me show you this. So let me show you from here. Okay. Enhancement. Okay. So whenever we click on this button, like what I meant is, can you see this enhance option? Whenever you click on this option, it will show you all the enhancements that has been done with respect to that source code. So as I was telling you, enhancement options can be either enhancement point or enhancement section. Now both can be either static or dynamic. Enhancement point is where, if you refer to static, static will only be added for declaration and dynamic will be used for coding. So if you see here all the points, if you see here this enhancement static, all are for declarations. Can you see this enhancement static? All are for declarations. Now let me see whether if there is any code is here or not. Let me take another example. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, see here. This is the point which I was telling you. Enhancement point, name of the enhancement point, enhancement implementation, then enhancement spot. For a dynamic, you will not find the keyword as dynamic. Now when you implement this enhancement point, okay, this is your explicit enhancement point, then if you want to add any logic enhancement and end enhancement. So what I meant is that for declaring an explicit enhancement option, you will find it like this: enhancement point, okay, then name of the same, okay, spots, as the explicit enhancement options will be managed by the enhancement spots, so there has to be a spot name, and depending on static or dynamic. So if dynamic is there, there will be no keyword as dynamic, and if there is a data declaration is there, there will be a keyword as static. So static. And after this, if any code will be implemented with respect to this explicit enhancement point, then it will be enhancement and end enhancement. It will be enhancement and end enhancement. This will be the enhancement implementation with respect to this explicit enhancement point. Okay, so enhancement, here is your logic, and end enhancement. So this is the syntax for your explicit enhancement point. So what happens is, explicit enhancement point comes into picture on the top of your whatever SAP has given the code. If they are giving you this point, that means if you want to add any code with respect to your own code, you can add the code. These explicit enhancement points are mostly provided by SAP, and we don't go for creating of the same. Explicit enhancement spots and points are created by SAP. Now coming to the reverse of it, let me show if enhancement section is here. Okay, now coming to this point, enhancement section. Okay, this enhancement section, what they do is, in this enhancement section, if you don't want the original SAP code to be executed and you want it to be replaced by your own source code, then we go for the enhancement section. So in the what the syntax will be same as you see for enhancement point, just that this will be replaced, the point will be replaced with your section. The point will be replaced with your section, enhancement section, name, then spot name. If there is a declaration, then static, otherwise nothing. And then you will have your end enhancement section, end enhancement section. And here, whatever code you write, this will replace your original code. As in this, your original code will get executed, then your additional code will get executed. Here, whatever code you write will replace your original code. So remember, enhancement section is for replacing the original code, and enhancement point is for adding code to top of your SAP code. So it will replace the standard code. So this explicit enhancement options, as in enhancement point and enhancement section, are provided by SAP. Now coming to the implicit enhancement option. Okay, so what happens is, let me show you from a function group, SC80. So SZA1, let me open. So suppose in the screen 301, go to your this thing, go inside this. So here If you want to add any code as into the implicit enhancement point, what do you do? Click on this enhance option, go to edit, click on show implicit enhancement options. Once you click on this show implicit enhancement options, it will show you the points where you can create an implicit enhancement option. It will show you the point where you can create an implicit enhancement option. So implicit enhancement options can be either created at the start of the subroutine or at the end of the subroutine. One point, start of the subroutine or at the end of the subroutine. So this is at the start of the subroutine or at the end of the subroutine. Second, it can be created at the start of the method or at the end of the method. So whenever we go to a class or a method, if you want to add any implicit own source code, either before this or either at the end, so it will be at the end of the method or at the start of the method. Similarly, at the start of the program or at the end of the program, at the start of the include program, at the end. So whatever ABAP objects you take, whether a function module, class, report, include, function group, subroutine, method, anything, either it will be at the end or either it will be at the start. These are your implicit enhancement point. Now if I want to add any source code, suppose to the end of here, what you need to do is click on create. Once you click on create, it will ask you for either a type of for the enhancement, either as declaration or either as code. If you want to just declare something before at the start, we will go on declaration if you want to do any additional declaration. If I want to add any code here after this, that my code will get executed, click on code, click on new enhancement, okay, provide the enhancement implementation name and the short text. So suppose that demo underscore enhancement, short text is demo on enhancement, demo on implicit enhancement, then enter. Now done this. Now can you see enhancement 1, implicit enhancement name, and this thing came, right? Now suppose if you want to add any source code here, you can add your logic here. Whatever logic you want to add, you can add your logic here. In case if you want to activate the enhancementation, click on activate the enhancements after you have done with the logic. In case if you want to undo it, click on undo and the enhancement will be reverted back. Getting the point, guys? So in this way you can add your implicit enhancement. So as I was telling you, so enhancement options, it can be either an implicit or an explicit. So and the other can be your enhancement spot. So I'll add it here. So these are my enhancement options and these are my enhancement spot. Now coming to your explicit enhancement options, it can either have enhancement point and enhancement section. So enhancement point is, suppose with your original SAP code, you want to add your customer logic and you find any enhancement option which is already provided by SAP, then you need to implement the same. That will be your explicit enhancement point. And if you want to replace the standard code with your own code, then you need to go for an enhancement section. And both for this explicit enhancement point and enhancement section, you need to be enhancement spot so that it can be managed by the enhancement spot. So go to the package, create an enhancement spot. Once you have created an enhancement spot, if you see enhancement point, then name, then spot name. If it is static, then there will be a keyword static, otherwise nothing. Then enhancement and enhancement where you add the logic. For enhancement section, then name, spots, then enhancement spot name. Static if you want to go for a declaration, but it will replace the standard code and the earlier code will not work. So this is enhancement section and this is enhancement point. Now one more thing which I want to show you was, so SE38, click on display. So suppose This is your enhancement point, right? So already you see that this has been implemented. Suppose if you want to implement the same, go to edit, enhancement operations, create implementation, because this is your enhancement point name and I want to create implementation of the same. Choose this option, enhancement operations, create implementation, undo implementation, change and replace. So these two are for showing the implicit enhancement options and hide the implicit enhancement options, which I just showed you now. With respect to your explicit enhancement point or enhancement section, that is related to your enhancement options, if you want to create any implementation for the same, edit, go to create implementation, and in case if you want to create any enhancement option, so normally we don't go for creating, SAP will provide you with the enhancement option, then you go for this option as create option. So enhancement options, enhancement spots. Enhancement options are of two types, implicit and explicit. Implicit doesn't need any enhancement spot, explicit needs enhancement spot. For explicit enhancement, and then going to your explicit enhancement options, you have enhancement point and enhancement section. In case if you want to go for data declaration, go for static, dynamic we go for coding. Then if you want to go for the explicit enhancement point, this is the syntax, that it will, the code which you add or the data declaration that you add will work on the top of your SAP standard code, that it will not replace it. But if you go for enhancement section, if you select a particular source code and go for enhancement section, it will replace that code with whatever code you have written. Up to this point, is it clear, guys? Any queries? Because this is very confusing. I think starting you were getting confused, right? This enhancement option, enhancement point, enhancement section, this and this. Harish, now is it clear? Because you were asking that query. Yes, it is not as trivial as programs, right? Harish.
Yes, sir.
Now is it clear? Because you were asking about this, right? Now I hope your queries on enhancement source, options, spots, points, what to use, when to use, it is clear now, right?
Yes, got the idea.
So one normal suggestion is, mostly we will go for this implicit enhancement points only. Implicit enhancement points only. 99.99% we will go for implicit enhancement points only. In scenarios, very rarely if you find a case where you need to create an implementation of the enhancement with respect to your explicit enhancement options, I'm telling, okay, with respect to your explicit enhancement options, those will always be provided by SAP. Can you see, it will be in German name and blah blah and so on, okay. So it will be very rare that you need to implement a explicit enhancement point or a enhancement section, okay. So if you see here, I'll show you one scenario. Can you see, as I told you, enhancement section is for replacing the code, right? See here what SAP has done. They have selected this source code block up to this endif, then created a enhancement option. So when you create an enhancement option, it asks you for either enhancement point or enhancement section. Let me show you. So when I click on create an option, okay, the problem is this is the standard code. Okay, I'll show you from a Z1. Suppose let us take this code and let me go to edit mode. Suppose, okay, now here, suppose I want to replace this code. Go to edit, enhancement options, create an option. Then it will ask you for enhancement point or enhancement section. Now guys, question to you. Now since I want to replace the standard source code, now just understand this is a standard source code. Now if I want to replace the standard source code, what should I do? Enhancement point or enhancement section? Tell me guys. Yes, once you go for enhancement section, can you see static suitable for non-declarative statements? Since I want to change the code, which radio button should I select? First one or second one? Since I want to go for changing the code, first which one should I select? First one or second one? Yes, second one. Then see here what I told you, enhancement options. Explicit ones are always supported by enhancement spot only, right? So you have to provide a spot. Since I have not created a spot, it will not allow me to create. So if I Z demo enhancement section, if you see, as I do this, it will say that at least one enhancement spot must be selected. What I need to do is, I need to go to this package of this, okay. I need to go to the package of this. So go to attributes, go to the package. See, it is $TMP, so I can't do anything as of now. But recommendation is go to the package, create a enhancement spot as I showed you from the package. Okay, this is a program name, so I cannot do anything. Go to the package, create an enhancement spot, then again come back there, specify that enhancement spot. Now then after that you have done, then what will happen is your enhancement spot will be created. Then once your enhancement spot is created, your enhancement section will be created. Once your enhancement section is created, click on that, go to edit, then now the option will not come because I have not created. Once that option is created, then you click on your once your option is created, this will be created like this, okay. Then what you do, click here, edit, enhancement operations, then create implementation, then it will be created. Up to this point, is it clear guys? Any doubts? So let me once again revise the theme for you so that it will be very much sitting clearly on your head. Talking about the enhancement framework, okay, we broadly say it that we have implicit enhancement and explicit enhancement. Normally we have enhancement spots and enhancement options, okay. So enhancement options are divided into again two parts, implicit and explicit. For 99.99% of your requirement, you will be going with your implicit enhancement options only. There will be two options, declarations and code. If you want to just do the declaration at the start of a program or a subroutine or a method or a function module or a include or anything, whatever ABAP repository object, then go for declarations. If at the start or the end, if you want to add any code, then go for the code. That's for your implicit enhancement point. Then coming to your explicit enhancement options can be again further subdivided into two parts. That can be enhancement points and enhancement section. Explicit enhancement point, if you want to add your code on top of SAP standard code, and mostly this will be provided by SAP, you need to create an implementation of the same, and the syntax will be like this: enhancement point, name, spots as enhancement. Explicit enhancement options are managed by enhancement spots. If you add this keyword dynamic, then that means it is for declaration. If there is nothing keyword, then means it is dynamic, it is for your coding. So enhancement point, then enhancement and enhancement where you will write your logic. Now coming to your enhancement section where you want to replace a set of source code as in the standard one with your own code, then you go for the enhancement of sections. Enhancement section name, spots, spot name, static or dynamic as the situation may be, and end enhancement section where you add your code as I am showing you here. This if block to this end if was to be replaced by this code. So this part was selected, and so what you do, first you put your cursor, edit, enhancement operations, create an option, create an enhancement section with the help of the enhancement spot. Once done, select the part, click on this, in edit and enhancement operations, create implementation and create your implementation, and which will replace your source code. Fine, I hope now that this will sit in your head for a long time. This because people really get a lot confused about this implicit enhancement point, explicit enhancement options, explicit enhancement point, explicit enhancement section, enhancement spot. Harish, now everything of your doubts is clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. Fine then, we will touch one more topic today, BAPI, and web service we will do tomorrow. Is it fine, guys? What do you say? Because otherwise it will be overburden of everything. Is all fine with the same? Tomorrow we will need around 1 to 1.5 hours only. Fine, right? So that we don't overburden. Okay, now coming to your BAPI. So BAPI stands for your Business Application Programming Interface. Anyone has used any BAPI in any of the requirements till now? Anyone? Anyone has
Yes,
used
sir.
any BAPI? Okay. Harish has used. Anyone else?
You.
Hello? Apart from Harish, anyone else has used any BAPI? Anyone, guys? Even if you don't have used, you can say no. At least I'll get a response. Okay, Asit says yes, sort of. Fine. So basically your BAPI stands for your Business Application Programming Interface. So what happens is BAPIs are normally relevant with respect to your business specific scenarios. Okay. Example, if you want to create a purchase order, there will be certain BAPIs. BAPIs are nothing but your RFC based function modules basically. A remote function module call, it's a function module basically, which will be used, which can be used from a SAP to a SAP system or can be used from a SAP to a non-SAP system. Why the name BAPI, Business Application Programming Interface? Because they are defined in the business object repository. So let me show you by the help of a T code called SW01. So this is your business object repository. Okay. Now if I provide this business object repository business number and click on display and expand this methods and create from data, if I double click on this, can you see here if I go into the ABAP, if you see this API function and the name is BAPI underscore PO underscore create. If I similarly go to the release of a PO, double click on this, if you see the BAPI underscore PO underscore release, these all are the BAPI names. If I just take this and open it, can you see this is a remote enabled function module and this is the source code for it. Okay, so BAPIs basically are like, it's a business object. So coming to your business object, because I use that word business object. Business object is similarly like to a class which consists of your attributes, methods and events. Okay, just I'll tell you in brief that business object is similar to a class which is a group of attributes, methods, interface, events, and they are with respect to a particular business application or scenario. So when I show you this bus 20102 is respect to the purchase order process in SAP. Similarly, if I show you another business object as bus 1001, this is with respect to your material scenario. So business object will always be relevant for a particular business application or business scenario. So what I say is BAPI is basically a remote enabled function module which is used to communicate between your SAP to SAP or SAP to non-SAP systems. Suppose if you have a non-SAP system which wants to use your SAP system to create a purchase order, so how will they do? What they will do is they will come to our SAP system, make use of this BAPI to create the purchase order and get the purchase order back. In case if they want to create a GRN, they will use a BAPI to create the GRN and they will get the GRN number back. So this business application programming interface are relevant with respect to business application scenarios, whether it's a purchase order or a material or a sales order or your goods movement creation or all these details. That's why we are talking about business object repository. So I'll just show you a demo scenario as to how to use this BAPIs in a material in your this thing. What do you say, in a report, to get how to make use of this BAPIs in a real-time scenario. So normally what happens is we need to make use of this BAPIs to achieve some of our requirements. Okay. So what we will do is we'll create a report to use this BAPI to fetch the material details. Okay. So I have already created a report. I'll show you. Z BAPI underscore material underscore, sorry, this one. Okay, so what I have done is I am passing a material number, okay, and I am calling this function. So as I told you, this is a basically like a RFC function module. So here, since I am calling this function module in the SAP system only, hence I am not giving any RFC destination. If I am calling this from a non-SAP system and all, I have to provide the SAP this destination and all. Okay. So call function BAPI material get detail. I am passing the material number to get the data. So let me just execute this. If I just pass 21, okay, and execute the same, I'll get these details. So let me go back and show you what I did. I am calling this BAPI. I did not get your point, Asit. Z BAPI asterisk as in? You can speak up because you all are on, you can unmute yourself and speak up. Asit, you there? Okay. I did not get your point. Z BAPI asterisk as in? No. The name of the program does not have a Z BAPI asterisk. I just created a name in this way. Don't go by the nomenclature. Got the point? I just created just for demo purpose, I created Z BAPI demo material. So here now question to all of you. Can you tell me, guys, there are two parameters, material and material long. Why have I passed P underscore Matner underscore material long and not under material? Can anyone tell me? Why have I passed? Yeah, tell me. Who wants to answer this? Anyone who wants to answer this? Harish?
To get the entire,
Sachin, anyone?
yeah, to get the entire material length, like with whatever length it is there in the SAP system, to get the entire material. Then, and so that we can use directly in the database table.
If I comment this out and if I pass this, guys, can you tell me whether I will get any output or not? Anyone? Will I get any output? Why no? Asit, why no?
You will be getting output if there is any data relevant to such kind of, without zero.
Here. If I pass 21, no, there will be a type conflict during a function module call. You know why the type conflict came? Let me show you. There will be a dump coming. Yes, The reason is, if you go inside this program, double click on this, go to the importing parameter of this. Can you see? This is BAPI material data. Material is Matner 18. Can you see? Char 18. Can you see? And material underscore long is Matner 40. Char 40. So the problem is, when I am passing this to material, okay, this P underscore Matner is of what? Mara Matner. This Mara Matner is of 40, right? Char 40. When I'm trying to pass it to 18, what will happen? Obviously dump will happen, no? Right or wrong?
Yes, yes.
Now suppose if I use this convert Matner CONV Matner 18, okay, shift and F1, and now if I execute, see here the output came. So either option is, either you use this convert runtime to Matner 18 of the same type as this, or you use this material underscore long. Choice is yours. You can do anything. Getting the point? Either you use this concept or you use this concept. That was the reason why I took this BAPI, because this had this confusing scenario with respect to material number. This you will not find in ECC, by the way. This issue you will not find in ECC, okay? This you will find only in S4HANA, because this material number issue started coming with only S4HANA, where it has been changed from 18 to 40. This issue you will not find in ECC. Getting the point, guys? That was the reason why I chose this BAPI, to show you this thing. So
Yes.
what I was telling, BAPI is basically like your RSP puncher module. If you want to use the same in your SAP system, you can use it like a FM. If you're using from a non-SAP system or from some external SAP system, you need to make use of the RFC destination and all. We're calling this BAPI so as to, with relevant to your whatever business functionality you are handling, you can achieve the same. And why BAPI? Because those are embedded with your business object repository, as I showed you from those bus numbers. Is it clear, guys, up to this point? Anyone has any doubts up to this point, whatever we understood today? Enhancement of standard database tables and structures with respect to append structure and custom includes, then with user exits, stream exits, then going to your enhancement sections, enhancement points with respect to explicit ones, implicit enhancement points and enhancement spots, then BAPIs and your BADIs. So we have been talking all about the enhancement framework today, whether it's a BADI or it's the enhancement sections or an enhancement point, enhancement spots, enhancements of standard tables and dictionaries. So these are all your hooks provided by SAP, whether you take into account user exits, whether you take into account your function module exits. These are all hooks provided by SAP to enhance your standard SAP code. Either you want to enhance or either you want to replace. So anyone has any doubts up to this point? Anyone wants to ask anything?
Yes, while for some of the BAPIs we do have extensions, like where we can have extension in and extension out. Just wanted to know, like, is it because we need to pass some of the additional fields into that and get the data saved? So just wanted to know that scenarios. Few BAPIs will have extension. Yeah.
Can you again
Few,
reiterate? I did not get your point.
yeah. Few of the BAPIs will have parameters like extension in and extension out.
Okay, so extension in and extension out, you need to, what happens is basically, you would have seen you need to pass X and you need to pass the data with respect to that extension in format. So whenever BAPIs will have extension in and extension out, so suppose the total length is example 100, okay. So in that 100 you need to handle with that respect to offset and length. So suppose extension in have value part 1 20 up to length 20, value part 2 up to length 20, value part 3 length 40. So offset 0 to 20, then plus 20 to 20, plus 40 to 40. In that way you need to handle and pass the value. Getting the point? And for whatever value part you are passing, there will be x as well. You need to pass x for the same. Did you get the point, Harish, what I'm telling?
Yeah, yes, sir. Like plant and plant text we'll be having. Along with this, we might also have additional fields also, right, sir? For example, standard table has some additional fields, and if you want to add few of the fields, and we have to pass that to the
simple thing. Sometimes BAPIs are used for transferring the data so that the data gets uploaded to the database tables also, right?
Yes.
So suppose in the tables you have enhanced your tables. Suppose take a scenario wherein your requirement was to enhance the tables, right? So you have already enhanced the table, right? Suppose you have enhanced the table with 3 custom fields, okay? Now the BAPI which you have got, those BAPIs will not be having those fields, right?
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
So
yes.
What is the situation that you need to do? You need to enhance your BAPI. As in, what I mean is, if you go to this BAPI, suppose you want to pass the data under your BAPI example, BAPI plant or plant, okay. Double click on this. Suppose you want to pass any data here. So here, if you want to pass any data, what will you do? You need to enhance this, right? So you will create an append structure for the same, add fields here, and then pass the data by writing a enhancement, implicit enhancement, or like, see, these enhancement points, as I told you, this will be given by SAP. Can you see here? They have created this enhancement point. If you want to use it, you can use the same. You can either use this enhancement points which is given by SAP, or you can add your implicit enhancement to add your code so as to pass the data. Or sometimes there may be certain like here you are getting the enhancement point. No, if enhancement points are not specified, use your implicit enhancement option to pass the data to that structure. Got the point? How to handle it?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Anyone else? Any doubts? Yeah. The function name will begin with BAPI. Asit, any BAPI, the function module name will begin with BAPI only. You just go to SE37, search with BAPI asterisk, you will get a lot of BAPIs. So BAPI example, I will take one more scenario. Just see BAPI, all BAPI. These are all will be BAPI. Okay.
Sir, one more thing. For most of the standard transactions, in order to identify what is the function module of BAPI that is going to be used for saving the data, mostly it will be BAPI, right, instead of function module.
Yes. BAPI PO create, BAPI goods movement MB create, all will be BAPI. So for most of the scenarios, you will get BAPI and BADI for the same. BAPI will be for creating and BADI will be for adding your hooks. So for all the standard transactions, purchase order, sales order, blah blah, and all these things, there are all lot of BAPIs are there. Whether for getting the data, whether for transferring the data, whether for creating the data, all the 3 scenarios: get data, update data, and transfer data.
Okay. And in few cases, while calling the BAPI, we'll be also calling BAPI transaction commit in order to commit the entries in the database table. However,
Yes,
there is
right.
BAPI transaction rollback and also one statement like commit work. Just wanted to know why
So
we'll be
see,
using that. But
BAPI transaction commit you can use directly, because what happens ultimately is if you go for BAPI transaction commit, inside it is doing commit work only. You want to see? I'll show you. See here. Can you see?
yeah, yeah.
Either you directly use commit work, okay, or you use
Okay.
commit work and wait, or you use BAPI transaction commit. Three options, okay. If your complete BAPI is successful, in case if your BAPI logic is not successful, that is in every BAPI, example in BAPI asterisk create, example BAPI asterisk PO asterisk BAPI PO create one, okay. If I click on display of this, and if I go to the tables, there will be a written parameter for this. Wait. There has to be a written parameter, written tab or something has to be there. Uh, Anyways, it's not, I'm not able to, see your written structure. Can you see BAPI red 2 optional? This one. So this BAPI
Yeah,
red 2 returns whether any error was there or not, or any append or error. I told you, no, EWAI, right? Remember an S. So E and A. If you find any such message type after you call this BAPI under this return, then you need to go for BAPI transaction rollback, not for commit. So BAPI transaction, this rollback, okay, this will rollback work. Basically you can either use rollback work or you can use BAPI transaction rollback. So once you've used a BAPI, you check for that return wala structure. In case if everything is clear, if that return is initial, okay, go for commit work first, or commit work and wait second, or BAPI transaction commit third. Else go for a rollback work or BAPI transaction rollback. Is it clear now, Harish?
Yes, sir. And finally, each and every time when we call any BAPI, it's not a mandatory thing like we need to call BAPI transaction commit, right? I mean, few of the cases, the BAPI itself will be creating the entries in the database, even if we don't call transaction commit for few of the
So
BAPIs.
what happens is like there is a implicit commit is there after the end of the BAPI, but it is a good practice to keep a BAPI transaction commit, because if you see all the standard code, SAP also has, if you see the codes, no, they have also used BAPI transaction commits. So it's just a good practice, nothing else. But you need to make sure that you are doing it at the right place. Otherwise, it is going to update wrongly update your database tables and all. You should be careful when you are using commit work.
Yeah.
Any other queries? Anyone has any other queries? Yes. Suppose what happens is if SAP wants to modify any of the standard source code, okay, if SAP wants to modify, I'm not telling enhance, if SAP wants to modify any of the standard source code, and what they feel is they want to release the solution to their customers and all, they will be releasing the nodes which you need to implement the nodes that will be modifying their original source code. If you want to enhance with respect to your own requirement which SAP is not responsible, then you need to go for enhancements. Getting the point, Asit? So example, I'll just take a real-time scenario now. Recently, e-GST and e-invoicing became mandatory in India from 1st of November with respect to all invoices for all the companies who are having a turnover of greater than 500 crores, sorry, 5,000 crores, okay. So SAP will be releasing notes to all its customers to implement those notes. Whoever wants to implement this functionality, as it has become mandatory from GST in India. Now, suppose a scenario where you want to, there is a screen is there and you want to enable or disable some fields with respect to only your development, not with other solutions for other customers. So SAP will not be bothered about the same. So at that stage, you need to implement your implicit enhancement concepts or your enhancement points if it is there, or enhancement section if you want to replace. I hope now it's clear, Asit. Any other query, guys? Fine then, if there is no other queries, then we will wind up. I hope that you understood all the concept properly with respect to BADIs, BAPIs, enhancement framework, user exits, customer exits, how do we use CMOD to implement the project implementation, which are all one-time activities. Then your enhancement of standard tables and dictionary structures. A general recommendation, don't practice all these things in case if you are not 100% confident, because these are all very critical things, because whenever you are enhancing a standard source code or modifying a source code or a DDIC object and all, it will hamper all the standard functionality. So be very sure and be very confident before doing all these changes. BADI you can always play around, because BADI is a hook on top of it, because even if you implement, you have the option to deactivate or activate a BADI. So anyways, you can always touch that. But user exits, then your function module exits, these are all one-time activity. Like append structures, when you add, you are activating all the dependent DDIC objects. Whenever you are implementing implicit enhancement, if you add at the wrong place, then the code will start behaving in an abrupt way. So we need to be very careful while doing all this enhancement framework, so that our standard solution which has been provided by SAP is not hampered, because if you hamper that, and then SAP is not at all responsible, because it is your own Z code which you have added to the SAP solution and it is not their solution. I hope you are getting this point. Is this clear, guys? Okay guys, fine then. So we'll catch up tomorrow for the final chapter, that is web services. So I hope that you understand that I went very slowly. Instead of 10 days, I'm extending to one more day, so that we can understand all the concepts. I went slowly so that you are able to practice also. So tomorrow we'll meet up to understand the web services. We'll do end-to-end the web service provider as well as the web service consumer. Fine, then we'll wind up, okay? So whoever was celebrating Chhath festival, wish you a very happy Chhath festival, because today will end all the festival ceremony, this week of India. So whoever was enjoying Chhath festival, wish them a very happy Chhath festival. Stay safe, take care. Catch up tomorrow. Bye bye guys.